Greetings, my name is Tim Johnson. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. It's a very special day for me really today. I feel quite emotional about it, but it's 18 months sober. And 2 years ago, I could never have imagined this moment. And I was in the darkest place probably I'd ever been in my life, probably close to death, as unhealthy and as unhappy as I'd ever been. And today, 18 months sober, every single facet of my life has improved. There is nothing in my life that hasn't improved since I became sober. And that's the first thing that I wanted to say, and that includes everything from relationships, finances, health, well-being, internal happiness, friendships, you name it. I can go on forever about what's improved in my life since I became sober. But there are many lessons that I've learnt along the way, and I think the important thing to say is here that I'm still learning every single second of every day, and I'm still very much a work in progress. And I suppose I was one of these people that was always looking for the reason that I hear, a reason to be alive, basically, and always searching, and what's the point in being alive? Well, the point is to be, as I've discovered, to try and work towards becoming the best person, the best version of yourself that you can be, and then you can begin to help others and begin to be the best you can be for your children, for your partners, for your friends, for your workmates, for the people, everyone around you, and to be able then to be the best person that can help other people and perhaps pass on that message. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is turning what I know into what I do. And what I mean by that is, you see, all my life, all the 35 to 36, 37 years of addiction that I was in, I probably always knew the right things. I always had the knowledge of what was right and what was the best way to go, and that what I was doing was bad for me and bad for all those around me, and I was losing everything. But I never took action. I never did anything to alter that and to dig deeply and change my life. The difference today is that I turn all that knowledge, I turn what I know and what I'm learning every day, because I'm constantly seeking from other people's experiences and for people that know a lot better than me, and that includes in spiritual matters, in scientific matters, in health and relationship matters, and in every way that I've had more experience than me, I seek knowledge from them, and I act on on that knowledge. So I take action, basically. Another great thing that I've learned along the way is acceptance, and accepting that life happens around you and will always happen and is constantly changing. And what I've learned is, it's not just an acceptance of myself, which I'll come on to in a minute, but it's an acceptance that there's many things I can't control, and that life will happen around me, and that I have to embrace that change and embrace life and be the strongest and best version of me I can be to deal with those moments in life. That's the joyful ones and the sad ones and the terrifying ones sometimes. And I accept that now, and I never accepted that before. I took things, and that includes seeking approval from others. I mean, I try and be the best I can be for other people, but if people, for whatever reason, don't agree with me, which is fine, because I'm not saying I have all the answers or play a long chalk, or I'm always right, because I'm not. I'm very much a work in progress, and probably always will be. But I don't seek other people's approval anymore. I tend to think, well, if that person doesn't, there's nothing I can do if that person doesn't agree with me or doesn't like me. And I don't get into that anymore, and I don't seek approval, and it's lifted a great weight off my shoulders, if you like, and that acceptance that life goes on around me and deal with it. And that brings me on to another really important thing, self-worth, which I've discovered which I never had any self-worth. I mean, and most addicts don't, as you know, probably those of you watching this that are still perhaps still in addiction or at my stage or way ahead of me or whatever stage of your journey you're in, you'll know that self-worth is there's always perhaps an issue, and that feeling of sort of you're not worth anything, your self-hatred and regret and resentment and all those feelings that are familiar to us, and to many other people, not just addicts, but in this modern world, but particularly if in addiction, your self-worth is the lowest of the low. And I've discovered that that's different from self-esteem. And self-worth is about being a decent person and treating yourself with respect. So it starts from within. So because as addicts we never treated ourselves, we probably never took care of our appearance or our personal hygiene or our health or our or our careers or our partners or our children. We didn't give our best to our families, and we were selfish and all those things that addicts are. And what I've discovered is that taking care of yourself, that regaining of that control, if you like, and taking a pride and that self-respect, and which starts with taking care of yourself, with making your bed in the morning, as I said, and with getting up and showering and shaving and taking care of your personal hygiene and your appearance, and dressing in smart, clean clothes and making sure your clothes are laundered and all your household chores are done. And it all starts from there, and that feeling then that you're sort of taking care of yourself and you're becoming worthy, and that self-worth. And then it grows and grows and grows, and you start to expand into giving your best to other people and giving service, which I'll come on to in a minute, and helping others and kindness and love, and then you think to yourself, well, perhaps I am a decent person, and your self-worth grows. And it's a slow old thing, and I still have issues with it, but it's 1,000 times better than it ever was at any time in my life. And that's a massive strength there when you're in sobriety. Energizing body and mind is massive, because I think we leak as people, because we're in such a busy world which is controlled by technology that we never have any time to savor the moments. And living in the moment and this is not a cliche, it's so important, because beauty and love and kindness and stuff is all around us, but we never get a chance to savor the moment and to savor each moment. And I always think about throwing my car keys up in the air and catching them, and that in particular moment, you're in that moment. There's nothing matters, because past doesn't matter, future doesn't matter. It's that moment. And if you start to think like that and use tools like mindfulness and breath, breathing techniques, and because none of us breathe properly, and it's massive, and we leak energy that way, and we become blind to everything around us, and we just live in this bubble of past and future and worry and tension and stress. And I'm not saying that we don't have massive problems, and you have massive things going on in your life, loads of you out there, I know that, terrible things sometimes, devastating things, but to get that inner strength and that inner happiness and to learn to face your fears and to energize your body and mind, you have to start to focus on being in that moment and being on your breath, in your breath, and dealing with stress and and just looking after yourself with nutrition and exercise and all those important things, because all that adds to your self-worth. I've discovered all this, and I'm still learning and practicing that on a daily basis, breathing and mindfulness and being in the moment and learning to do things mindfully, everything from eating to just watching people and enjoying every single moment of my life instead of wishing it forward or backwards, or living on memories, and painful ones sometimes, which escalate and create worry and stress and cortisol and all those things that destroy us eventually and make us unhappy and depressed. So I'm still learning about that. We all can. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect, but again, it's 1,000 times better than it used to be, and I'm still learning every second of every day about facing fears as well, and about selflessness and giving, because we're very selfish as addicts. I've learnt that as well. I've learnt that how selfish I was when I've looked back at myself and I've dealt with the way I used to be, which you have to do in sobriety. You have to deal with past traumas, and you have to deal with forgiving, and you have to deal with it's really difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, and some of you out there, and I know, I'm not being blasé about this, will need professional help with that, counselling or psychotherapy or whatever it is. And the help's all out there. You just have to you just have to be brave enough to go and get it and accept it, as with any help, because again, that's another thing that I've learned as well, that you can't do this on your own. You've got to seek help. You've got to seek knowledge constantly and seek help and have support, and that might be from your family, from your friends, from groups like myself, from AA or NA, if that's which way you want to go, from things like philosophies like Taoism, which is my philosophy that I live as my code, and Buddhism, and all these things are all part of that support network and that connectedness which you need to find in sobriety. And that's something else I've learned as well along the way. You can never do it on your own. You always need that support. I think also that I've learned that it's actually a privilege to be able to go into sobriety. I feel quite lucky, because I don't think many people, especially in this day and age, get a chance to, or a moment that they can change and start really looking at themselves and changing their lives and reinventing themselves and trying to become that best version of themselves and most authentic version of themselves, strongest in every way, mind, body and spirit. Not many people get a chance to do that in this modern world, and I think us as addicts get that, and I treat it as a privilege, because it's something that has allowed me magic into my life, and it's allowed me to pass on experience to other people and perhaps help them, which is so important. Giving service, something I would never have considered, is giving service, and it's so integral to recovery and selflessness. And as well as those things like love but it's not, and gratitude and stuff like that. But it's not a case of another thing I've learned, it's not a case of feeling those feelings. It's not a case of feeling those who are giving service, or feeling gratitude, or feeling love and joy. It's a case of behavior. It's a case of behavior, living that behavior, if you like. So that's really hard to do. It's all right feeling these things but behaving like you're in service, and behaving with love and behaving with joy when you're feeling really down and low and angry and whatever you're feeling and stressed, but still being able to behave kindly and behave lovingly and to give service and to behave gratefully and to be grateful is the skill that you have to practice and practice and practice and practice. And I do that on a daily basis, and it gets better, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a constant work in progress, that, for all of us, I believe. Like I say, I would never have thought that I would be volunteering and helping homeless people, and volunteering in a dog charity and all these things, and I've come into my life, and it's sort of come naturally in sobriety when you get into it, and you get over that first, I suppose, 6 to 8 months, which is a voyage of discovery really, and it's bloody hard. You know, there's no doubt about it. It's a hard old slog, you know, and you work at it and work at it, and then the moment comes when you start to feel it's all paying off, and these sort of things come into your life, these gifts come into your life, like being able to give that service, new friends and new relationships come in your life. My relationships with thank God, my relationships with my children and my wife and friends and family improve on an almost daily basis, and I have to realize that only through this journey, only through this what I've just been talking about, constantly working on myself, am I going to slowly but surely regain their not their love, because they've never deserted me, thank God. That love's always been there, but there were times when despair took over, and lack of trust and respect and all those things. They didn't want to be near me or by me, and I totally understand that. And I'm not looking for forgiveness in any. That's not the goal of all this. It's I'm looking to rebuild that trust and that respect and that my own, you know, that dignity, and that bond just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And I can only do that by working hard and constantly showing them with results, if you like, that I'm trying the best I can to be the best I can be for them and for myself and for other people, and that's a constant work in progress, and probably the most important thing of all, because my family is the most important thing of all to me. You know, there's no doubt about that in my mind at all. And in 2 months' time, my oldest daughter gets married, and it's a particularly joyful occasion for me, and happy, sad occasion, if you like, giving the first one of the two of them away. And but the fact that she's told me that it's going to be a privilege for me to walk her down the aisle and hold her arm in mine means that every second of this journey is worthwhile. And anyway, sorry about that. Just thank you all for following me on this journey, those of you who had followed me on this journey, and I'll continue to make these if they help people. And I just want to say to you all out there that those of you who are still in addiction, those of you who are still in withdrawal or tapering off Suboxone, or in early recovery, and whatever stage of recovery you're in, continue this journey, because it's so worthwhile and such a privilege. And I just believe that, you know, I'm never been happier, and I carry around with me this feeling now of inner peace and calm and joy, which I could never have hoped for, and or prayed for, or wished for, or whatever you think. Just continue to do the right things, and just hold on if you're struggling, because every second gets better slowly. You may not think so to start with, but it will, and it does, and it gets stronger and better. So please all, carpe diem, seize the day. Sobriety is magical, and it's a gift that keeps on giving. And thank you all. Much love to you all. Stay strong, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.